I also played a new game, Mouthwashing, which I had tried the demo of a while back.
Me and Vito were gonna speed run that.
Yeah, me and John got a speed run.
It's not very long. Yeah. So this, as a reminder, this is the game about a small crew stranded on a spaceship. Things go from bad to worse. Pretty short game. The full game that you kind of get hints of in the demo for sure is very abstract and kind of an acid trip of a horror game. A good amount of crazy imagery. The writing is subtle, leaves room for interpretation, maybe a little too abstract for my taste in horror, but it was still a unique experience for sure. And
quite Lynchian, my dear.
I mean, I guess you could say, I didn't really think about it, but in some respects, I guess you could say.
Definitely looks like a cool game.
Did you play their previous game?
Yeah, I talked about it on the podcast. I didn't like it that much, and it actually made me less interested in Mouthwashing's Mouthwashing's eventual release. But I was still going to play Mouthwashing because the demo was intriguing to me. But absolutely, they have a style. They love that acid trip shit, that sort of like very abstract game design. The gameplay itself in Mouthwashing is fairly limited, so it's more or less an interactive story. You're just moving and clicking to proceed. But
so it's who's gonna click faster, me or Vito? Okay.
Yeah, that's the question.
I click pretty fast, and I might have a newer mouse than John does. I might lend to itself to more clicks per second.
It could.
But I played the previous game as well. They might also talk about it. I mean, I checked my runtime. I only have a half hour, and honestly, I mean, I agree with Flask. I couldn't even tell you what happened. It's so, I don't know.
That's how fish is made or something like that, right?
Yeah, how fish is made. Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly you're just a fish like going through like air ducts, and then. Honestly, it's so kind of trippy and abstract. I hardly remember what happened. I think there was like a big dance number at the end. That was pretty cool.
Which I liked, but it's still the whole experience overall is like very abstract. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool though. This one I had in my wish list, and yeah, a couple days ago I did. Somebody mentioned it. I think Vito mentioned it. I said we should speed run it, and then we just didn't.
We will.
It's not very long. There. Like I said about the demo, I really like.
Well, it'll be extra, not long, because we're like we've kind of done this a few times. This speedrun thing.
We have, and we're pretty fast. We're
pretty fast. Yeah. Pretty fast.
And some people think we're not like absorbing, a lot of the game because we're moving so fast, but that's not true. I mean, I actually think I'm absorbing it even better, even stronger.
Because if you think about it too much, you start getting muddied down and what ifs. Exactly, how about this? You gotta make split decision.
On gut instinct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you'll have some gut instincts in this game.
What's that mean? What does he mean? Somebody get him. Somebody hold him down. What does he mean?
Hold him. Brace him.
I also played another new game called Hollowbody that I had also played the demo of. This is another one that's getting a little bit of buzz because it's in that vein
to Hollow Knight?
It is not. That would be Silksong, which is coming soon. This one is Hollowbody, one word. It is like a PS2 survival horror, PS2 style survival horror game. That's the comparison everyone's making. I think I did this last time, but as the Steam description says, it is a tech-noir survival horror short story set in the urban decay of a long-abandoned British city. Mika crash lands her hover car in a dark abandoned suburb, while looking for someone, and she has to traverse the area, and the monsters come out. It's a decent.
Just on that pitch, it sounds pretty cool. Just the idea. It does, yeah. I mean, I don't know the large world, but just the idea of that makes it seem like there's these hover cars and there's abandoned parts of the world that you should probably just fly over. And she was unlucky enough to crash here.
So
seems like a pretty cool start.
Absolutely, what you're saying is what I thought as well. The demo gives a very good impression. The intro of the game is wonderful. It's like a very like Blade Runner. One unfortunate aspect that I want to actually bring up because of the exact expectation you have, John, is once you crash land in this abandoned suburb, there is really not much more like cyberpunk Blade Runner type stuff going on in the game. You're kind of just there from then on.
You're like on the outskirts of the city.
Yeah, if anything, it feels like an alt history, like 1960s or something like that. Like that's what the feeling you get is, rather than, I don't know, glorious 80s retro future or something like that. So just check your expectations in terms of like the setting being cyberpunky, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just kind of watching through on the like Steam gameplay trailer, and it does seem like some of the UI just kind of keep that sci-fi, but yeah, the doors have like these big bulky kind of locks on it. You know what I mean, with these pads. That's what you're
like
saying.
Tube TVs and
yeah,
looks cool.
Just walked into a room with one.
It does, yeah. Great look.
Yeah, it does look cool.
It's a decent survival horror game, kind of middling in the gameplay department. The combat sort of plays like Silent Hill, which itself doesn't have the greatest combat. The atmosphere is great.
For some reason, I'm kind of digging the Metal Gear Solid VR room nature of the map.
Yes, yeah. There's like those limited bits of like technological, world building, I guess, are great. Like I think I mentioned this when I talked about the demo, but you get a little readout of any corpse you come across that tells you who they were and how they died, and it really adds to the world, the setting. And you also have like intermittent radio signals that you pick up, and you can hear some like memory stuff. So anything like that very much adds to the atmosphere. The sound is well done. The puzzle stuff is pretty on par with the genre. The story, I think, could be better. That's probably its weakest aspect. The game, I think, builds up its world more than it delivers a solid plot. But this game came from a single person, so this was an impressive thing for a single person to create. And I wish this individual success in the future, because I think what he's evoking here is pretty nice.
Cool.
It's cool. One funny thing I did want to mention is, you know how Silent Hill has text for when you interact with certain things in the environment? The character has a little something to say about it. Not like voice acting, but there's a little text when you look at something.
Sure.
Hollowbody has that too, but because so many of the areas you go through contain bathrooms and kitchens, I would say something like 60% or more of the comments that Mika has to make about the environment are regarding how filthy she thinks everything is in the environment. Like, if you were to look at the overall pie chart of her commentary lines that they have
stinky.
in the game, it's like most of them are stinky about the bathrooms and kitchens that she's going through. The majority are about the cleanliness of the space or lack thereof. I don't think the developer really thought that through while implementing the commentary lines, because it is pretty funny when you get the whole game experience. Or maybe he did. Maybe that's what he wanted, because maybe Mika has very strong opinions about cleanliness.
I would say maybe she's like a neat freak or something, and you're supposed to.
His hidden lore is actually OCD. It's you had to read the extended book.
The manual that the game came with.
You had to read the manual.
Yeah,
it's where's it gotten you now?
Yeah, she's in the wrong place if she's a neat freak, because it's a dirty, abandoned city. But she's looking for someone.